Well, hey there, guys. I'm Axel the Beast, and this is the Curiosity Shop, the Zelda Dungeon video mailbag where I answer your Zelda questions. Our first question comes from Clovis Lascelle. What do you name Link when you don't use the default? I've always named him Axel, pretty much. I mean, I would name him Link normally because I usually name characters by their default names, even the main characters. But, I actually have shared the game with other people, and they've often have their own names, so we use different names to distinguish whose file it is, so I always named him Axel. On my, 3-heart challenge files that I've been doing in minimalist runs, I've been having a little more fun and naming him different things. Like, I've named him Kraken in Phantom Hourglass, and I've named him different things, and it's a little fun that way. I've been having toying around with it a little more with that. But other than that, pretty much just Axel. What about you guys? Do you name him Link, or do you name him other stuff too? Trevor asks, since Nintendo is remaking Ocarina of Time, there's almost a 100% chance that there will be new features and/or explanations to previously unknown facts. Personally, I would love to see what Zelda did the entire time she was running from Ganon, and maybe a hidden dungeon or two. What do you want to see in Ocarina of Time 3DS? To be honest, I would like them to not do too much that would mess with how the game was and the main story and events of the game. I'm not too interested in seeing what, Zelda as Sheik was doing, because as far as I'm concerned, she was just sort of running, and I think switching to her as a playable character, if that's what you're thinking, would be kind of awkward to me. But, I wouldn't mind seeing, extra side dungeons or side content. I mean, as far as I'm concerned, they should throw as much of that in as possible. I don't particularly, I suppose if they have changes that they want to make to if there's anything they want to retcon or overwrite about the original game, or there's things they want to clarify, then that's something that they should do. They should change the dialogue and stuff where it's necessary to clarify these things. But overall, I think they should keep things mostly the same unless there's changes that they need to or want to make like that. And they should just add, side content and stuff. They could throw in the Wind Temple and Ice Temple that were originally intended for Ocarina of Time. That could be kind of interesting. I'd like to see that, but I don't know if I want to see them as part of the main plot necessarily. That would kind of mess things up, but maybe as extra dungeons for side content. Yeah. Silver Elec asks, what are your thoughts on the Hero of Time movie? I have actually not seen the movie. I've seen the trailer, though, and I saw the original IGN trailer for the fake movie, and I thought it looked pretty good, and I was a little disappointed that it was fake. And then I saw the Hero of Time trailer, and I was like, what is this? Because it didn't look terribly good, in my opinion, not to be mean. But, and I have not seen the movie yet, but from what I've seen of people talking about it, clips of it, the trailer, etc., it doesn't look like it's that great. It doesn't look like anything terribly impressive, in my humble opinion. But, it does, I don't think there's anything wrong with it existing. I think it was a fun thing to exist. I don't mind that Nintendo decided to stop it. In fact, I think that's fair and to be expected. That's just what they have to do. There's nothing wrong with that. And I was actually kind of annoyed to hear people complaining about it so much, saying Nintendo was in the wrong. I can understand being upset about it, but Nintendo wasn't in the wrong. They had the right to do that. And, ultimately, I don't think there's any harm that it existed. I think that it was a fun little thing, even if it wasn't very good. But I think that, I don't know. I have a neutral opinion about the video game movies in general, and I think they're fine to exist, but I don't think they necessarily are very important, but they're interesting. That's all I have to say. I might see the movie sometime if I can still find it online, but other than that, no further comment. Baga Jr. asks, yesterday while I was getting the second Deku Nut upgrade in Ocarina of Time, where the Deku Scrubs judge your mask, it didn't work. After I put on the Mask of Truth, they did their normal crap, and then I went over to the guy for my prize, but he wouldn't get up. Is there something I'm forgetting or something I don't know about? Can you please help? Unfortunately, there is a bug that I've heard about. I've never experienced it myself, but sometimes so I suspect that maybe later versions of the game don't have this bug, but earlier versions do. I'm not sure. But basically, there's some times where you cannot even get that upgrade if you have become Adult Link. If you have never grabbed the Master Sword in the Temple of Time, you can still do it. But if you've ever become Adult Link, you cannot get that upgrade again. Now, in my game, I haven't experienced this bug, and there might be a point after being Adult Link where it happens, but I think that's the problem you're running into, and you're probably going to have to restart your game, I'm sorry to say. I'm sorry, man. Big Oron asks, do you think that Alfonzo from Spirit Tracks is a descendant of Gonzo from Wind Waker, or did they just reuse the character? Well, there's definitely cases of them reusing characters throughout the series. I mean, there's all the characters in Majora's Mask, and that's got some plot relevance. They're supposed to be alternate versions of their Ocarina of Time selves. There are games where they reuse characters, and there's a reason for it. There are also times where they reuse a character, and there is no reason for it. They're just reusing the character as a different person. It's not the same person in the timeline. He's not immortal, but it's the same character design and personality, because they wanted to reuse it for whatever reason. I think Tingle is a good example of this. I mean, if they talk there, he has his game where it supposedly explains it, but I don't think that's necessarily canon. As for Gonzo, since Nico was the same guy, and he was an old dude, and Gonzo looks identical, and Zelda's descended from Tetra, and I just think there was so much reference in Spirit Tracks to them being there being descendants, and the next generation and stuff like that. I'm pretty sure Alfonso was related to Gonzo, but technically it's not proven, but it's pretty clear in my opinion. But that's just me, and I mean, I'm pretty sure that's what they intended. Wilburn asks, do you think the leader of the Dark Tribe could be Zant, or is Skyward Sword too removed from Twilight Princess for him to even be considered? Well, Zant, I don't think there's any reason to expect that the Twilight were, like, especially immortal or long-lived, and Zant was not a very old guy, so, in my opinion, since Twilight Princess is a long time after Ocarina of Time, and Skyward Sword is going to be a long time before Ocarina of Time, if the Dark Tribe is going to be the villain of Skyward Sword, which isn't proven, it's just my strong theory, then I don't think Zant's even going to appear, because he wouldn't have been born yet. He was a Twilight Princess thing purely, and he was, he was born like normal, and he hadn't popped up anywhere else before then, because he hadn't been born. That's all I gotta say. Yeah. Ryan Sikora asks, in the last episode you said something about the Fused Shadow and Majora's Mask having the same eye design. Do you think it's possible that they have some kind of connection to each other? Well, they have a connection to each other automatically in the fact that both are belonging to, not necessarily created by, they haven't talked about that, but belong to the Dark Tribe, or at least alternate incarnations of the Dark Tribe. We don't know if the Majora's Mask Dark Tribe is related to the Twilight Princess one, but they're both Dark Tribes, we know that much. So, they share the same eye design, probably because they share the same masters. However, that doesn't say much about what that eye has to do with the Dark Tribe. It could be their symbol or whatever, I don't know. But it's related in that sense. They may have not intended any other relation. I don't think they're the same thing, but they could, I don't know, have some kind of related origin or whatever. I'm not sure, but I don't think they're related other than the fact that their masters are the Dark Tribe. Clifford asks, since it's been confirmed that Link's Awakening will be among the 3DS Virtual Console games, do you think they will revamp the graphics, or will it just be a port of the DX version? Well, this is a Virtual Console release. It's not a remake like Ocarina of Time 3DS. So I think the graphics will be pretty much the same. What does confuse me is the ability to, just adjust the 3D option, but that's really might just be more of an example of something that we'll see with all Virtual Console releases, because it's a standard feature of the 3DS. That's just how it displays. And, the fact, I don't think the graphics are going to be any different than the DX version in that anything other than that it will be displayed with a 3D effect that's just can be applied to any, old game. But since it's a Virtual Console game, it's going to be pretty much the original game from what I can see. Hero of Time asks, what do you think of being able to adjust the amount of 3D on Link's Awakening? Well, I'm not a big fan of the 3D stuff. I think it's kind of a novelty seeing the stuff pop out at you. I've always been able to, perfectly picture what's going on in the game world, 3D or 2D or whatever, and I don't really need to see it pop out at me, and I think that's kind of silly that everyone makes a big deal about the technology. So I'm kind of indifferent about it. It's a cool little feature, and it's kind of nice to see this new refreshing thing added to the game. I have no complaints, really. I just don't think it matters a whole lot. I don't think it's going to change the game that much, because as I just said, I don't think they're going to change the graphics. It's just going to be the little sprites popping out at you, so no comment, really. I don't think it's going to matter much. Ryan Seaman asks, with Link's Awakening confirmed for the 3DS Virtual Console, do you think all past Zelda handheld titles will either be available through Virtual Console or be backwards compatible with the 3DS? Well, I don't think they've talked about 3DS backwards compatibility. If there's going to be any, I'm pretty sure it's only going to be the DS. So, in that, Phantom Hourglass and Spirit Tracks might be backwards compatible. As for having the original library of handheld titles, I'm pretty sure, I mean, there's no reason that they would drop out the Zelda series. I'm pretty sure we'll probably see most of the major, if not all, of the Mario, Zelda, Metroid, all the games that were important on the old handheld consoles we'll see on the 3DS Virtual Console. I don't see any reason why they'd exclude any of them. I think it goes without saying. Last question. Martin asks, although this may seem a little late, what do you think of the haunted Majora's Mask story, if you followed it at all? I thought it was extremely well done myself. Well, I did follow it a little bit. The point is that after it had gone through for a little bit and it had been floating around, the original poster admitted it was fake, so it's a fake. As for what I thought of it when I saw it, I thought pretty much the same thing. I don't think it looked that real. It was you see hoaxes like this all over the internet, and I won't say I necessarily don't believe in the paranormal. I mean, that's not a topic for this, but I don't believe most things that are considered paranormal have any solidity. They're mostly just hoaxes or misunderstandings. I think that this was just looking at it, it was obviously like hacking and stuff. I've seen Majora's Mask hacks before, and that's basically what it looked like to me, and there was no reason to suspect a video game would have been haunted. Because any recorded cases of ghosts that you might take seriously, whether or not you believe in that stuff, there are cases that you could take seriously because they have some evidence. They never do stuff like that. They never mess with a video game's programming and then the ghost comes and kills you. That doesn't, or I don't know if it said that it killed him, but point is that there's stuff like that. I don't think we've ever heard of any solid cases of that. That's purely fantasy stuff. And it just looked so fake, the way they... I mean, a lot of it even looked that real. It was just, like, obviously messing around with the programming code to me. So, I thought it looked fake. I think it's kind of silly. I guess it's a little fun, but I don't think it was terribly impressive. I don't know, maybe I'm a spoil sport, but didn't think much of it. Alright, guys, that's it for this time. Be sure to send your questions to the email address in the description and such, and I'll see you guys later.